can you please try to promote Aaron as panelist? It will not let me do it. So go to attendees and click those 3 buttons.
Yeah, I tried promoting him to panelists.
Guys, we will get started in just one moment. We are just welcoming in Aaron, and we will get started as everybody's joining. Hey, Aaron, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Aaron.
Morning, Carm. So, are we started? Like, is everybody looking at us?
Well, it's live, so everybody's there. I couldn't get you out of the waiting room. Nothing like technical errors on a Friday morning in Zoom. So
I was wondering. I was like, I'll just hang out here for 15 minutes.
I knew you were there. I did not doubt you. I just had to figure it out. We have a few concurrent sessions, so I appreciate you guys bearing with us. And Aaron, I don't know if you're going to be sharing slides. So if you want to go ahead and do that, Carmen's going to introduce you, and I will let you guys get started, okay?
No problem. And Amber, when do you want me to end?
So if you could end around 10:20 is the end of this session, so 9:20 your time. So if there may be some Q&A. If you want to allow Q&A, I will come back on and help pose those questions to you. If not, if we don't get to those questions, I will forward those to you in email so that you guys can reach out and respond to the questions.
Not a problem.
Awesome.
Not a problem.
All right, Carm, I'm handing it
Are we
over
ready?
to you guys.
We're ready.
Thanks for your patience to everyone as we work out all these great details. And thank you to Steve, Ramiz, and Cassie for taking the time to join us here today and inspire all of us with your keynote and your vision. Now, after having interviewed aftermarket coaches, technicians, shop owners, and various professionals within the auto repair industry, it's clear there are several challenges faced within this space. Hearing about the ways that AutoLeap can help overcome these challenges is an absolute game changer for the future of auto repair. Now, that being said, there's always one question that every shop owner has about their shop. How can I grow? How can I take my shop to the next level? Well, if you've ever asked yourself these questions and wondered about the future of your auto repair shop, this next session is perfect and a must for you. We're joined by Aaron Stokes, the CEO of Shop Fix Academy. Now, Aaron is a 24-year veteran of the automotive repair industry, and his training institute, well, it provides innovative management coaching and training. And you can learn more about Shop Fix Academy at their booth in the exhibit hall. Aaron's session will cover the key tips for getting into the growth mindset. He will get you thinking about how you can scale your operations and strive to grow your business. Aaron will also cover important aspects to keep in mind, such as revenue goal setting, efficient growth implementation, and growth forecasting. Join us and walk away with the right mindset to grow your business. Aaron?
All right. Thanks, Carm. Thanks, Amber. All right, guys. Hope everything is going well today. Hope you're having a great Friday. I mean, it's Friday, right? I always like Friday. Friday goes into the weekend. So I'm going to dive right in. First, I want to hit the mindset piece. Then I'm going to talk to you about forecasting and some details for that transition. But let's first focus on that. So what I want to make sure you understand first is that growth is a big deal. Number one, growth is a huge deal. If you're not growing, you're dying. You've heard the saying. A lot of us have, we've had our head wrapped around that. We've thought about that for years, but let's just focus in on how growth specifically works. So most of the time through life, you're going to walk around and you're going to face problems that are usually similar in size to you and what you can handle, right? And they're going to be about the same size as you all the time. And then as you do better and better in business, you're going to look back one day and you're going to say, man, this is crazy, but I just got a huge problem that normally this problem right here, that would have put me out of business back in the old days. And so I'll have somebody meet with me and they'll go, man, Aaron, I'm facing some issues now that if I had faced this when I first got started, this right here, it would have totally stressed me out and shut me down. Now, what I want to make sure that you think about for a second is as you're looking at this going, oh my gosh, this is so much bigger than me. It's larger than life. I can't tackle it. Let's say it's your landlord. Your landlord says, hey, I don't want to renew your lease. And you go, but wait a second, you're forced to. Then you go back and you look at your paperwork and you didn't sign something correctly. It was 8 years ago. You were young, just getting started. Maybe there's some kind of other stipulation. I don't know. But you found out some bad news. Those types of problems, we think we can't tackle them. But in reality, This problem is even bigger in the future. And in reality, you're big enough to handle them now. What happens is a lot of us don't see problems the same way that our friends see them about us. So you might go, I'm only this tall, I can only handle problems this big. But then someone else looks at you and goes, man, you know so much. You're up here. You're a big deal. Not only can you handle this problem, you can even handle that problem. And it is apparent when you give advice, when you help other people, when you talk to people, and they're going, man, that person knows their crap. They know what they're doing. And you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, how's this possible that I'm able to tackle this? And a lot of times it comes in the form of a transition. So what do I mean by that? So let's say one day a big problem happens and you solve it. Another big problem happens, you solve that one. And then the most recent big problem happens and you solve that one. And then you go, whoa, and you have this revelatory moment where for a second you say, holy cow, I'm a bigger deal than I thought. Not in an arrogant way, not in a cocky way, but you just start to have a revelation that what everybody's been saying about you is true. I can hire technicians. I can give people advice. I can do meetings. I can stand at the front of the room and do a one-to-many conversation, get my staff pumped up. I can do this. And when you start to say the words I can versus I can't, then your vision changes from this level right here, right, to from here. And up here is where true vision lies, right? Up in the clouds. So down here in the dirt, this is where we do all the work. But up there, that's where the vision lies. So I'll give you a couple quick points. Everybody here, your business is based on car count. Well, let's be real. I hope if you're here, you do something with auto repair. If not, you're at the wrong webinar. Please log out, go to somebody else's. But car count and then average repair order. You might call it something else, but average repair order and car count. This is going to go through the calendar year, January, all the way through to December. January, all the way through to December. Now, a lot of people might look at their revenue and they might say, well, Aaron, let's just do $1 million for easy math. I did $1 million. I want to I want to go up 10%. 10% would be for me to do 1,100,000. The problem with that mindset is that if you decide you're going to do 1,100,000, fix my one there, you're going to just do, well, only 10%, but you're going to do a number that you just pulled out of your butt. You just said, hey, I want to do 10% more. Why? Why only 10? Well, in your head, there's a certain amount of effort that comes with 10% and a certain amount of effort that comes with 30 or 40%. First off, let me point this out. If you were saying things like, I don't want to grow, I don't want the headaches, more money, more problems, employees are headaches, I don't want to do any more than what I'm currently doing, that's the wrong attitude. You got to stop that right now. That mindset's going to get you in trouble. But you never grow based on a percentage. I don't want you to say, growing based on a percentage is the way I'm going to go, blah, blah, blah. This is how I get there. That's not how you do it. It's not how you do it. Instead, what I want you to do is come up here to car count. I want you to look at car count. I want you to ask yourself a couple key things. I want you to say, all right, am I any better at curb selling? Am I any better at getting somebody convinced that my shop's the right shop? Am I better at that? And am I able to get those appointments into my shop and close the deal? Is my marketing better? Can I get them into my parking lot? Have I spruced up my location? Is it better? And if you last year, let's just say, I'm going to make up a number here. Let's say you did 2,000 cars. And this year you look at it and you go, I think I can grow. I think, let's just say I'm probably going to do 10% more. I think I'm a little better at getting people in. So that means you're probably going to hit 2,200. And then if you look over here at your average ticket and you say, yeah, I'm doing better on my average ticket. My average ticket, I have a better sales team. I do better inspections. We do a better process. We impress people. We really crush it. Okay. Well, if you do all that stuff better and you know it's better and you look back and you go, dude, I only did, let's just make up a number, 700,000 the year before, and I just did 1 million. Man, it was a lot of effort to grow. And so in your mind, you think the same effort you did to get to 1 million is the same effort you will have to apply to get to 1.1. And you start to doubt, and you start to go, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe you're going, where's all the money? I did 1 million, but there's not much left in my checking account. And so as you get to this place, you start looking at your average ticket and you look from January to December and you say, that's a little weird. I feel like I'm actually a lot better than last year. And my car count, maybe whenever I did 700,000 going to, 1 million, really was maybe 1,850 or 1,900. So you didn't do a big jump. So that tells us where the growth is represented is in the average ticket. The average ticket maybe went from 200 to 400 or 300 to 500. I don't know the number, but whatever. It grew. And so for you, you look at this and you say to yourself, wow, my average ticket is going to go up. My average ticket's going to do more. And I think it's going to be substantial. So if we were just to look at this, hold on, I'll get my phone. So if we were going to take $1 million, and you can do this with me, get a calculator, $1 million. And I'm going to do this with a calculator so that I don't mess it up. Because last time I did this, I was in front of a crowd and somebody called out a number and ended up being wrong, and I had to roll with it. 2,000 cars, average ticket's $500 this last year. So if average ticket was $500 this last year, this year at 500, last year, if you go, man, I think I'm way better, I'd go, how much? You go, 10%? No, I think I'm better than 10. 20%? Man, I'm probably better than that. Probably more like 15%, right? So if it was 15%, another $75 times 0.15, yeah, $75. So $575. So $575, they look at it and they go, man, that's a big increase. So then I say to them, okay, well, why don't we, if you think right now at the end of December, at the end, we'll call it 22, at the end of 2022, your average ticket is performing high. Because remember, when you have an average ticket of 500 for the course of the year, it did something like this. It went uphill. So they're sitting here going, all right, I really think here at the end of the year, I'm getting closer to that 575, and I think I'm going to get into the low sixes by the end of 23. So let's call it 575 somewhere in the middle. I go, okay. So we take 575 times 2,200, 2200, and we end up with 1,265,000. So at 1,265,000 is to this number, 1,265. Come on. We end up with over 25% growth from 1 million to 265. So that 265,000 growth ends up being much more than 10% you were thinking of. Now, what I'll see a lot of owners do is a lot of owners will do even better than what they gauge, and then will outperform it. But all of your growth is broken into two categories. And a lot of people will say, no, it's parts, Aaron, it's labor. That's not accurate. Parts and labor are what you sell, okay? But car count and average RO is actually how you get there. And how you get there is how we determine our sales. So you might go, crap, Aaron, I want to sell way more labor this year. Okay, that's great. But if you don't have a car in the parking lot, it does not matter. Aaron, I'm going to sell way more parts. That's great. But if you don't have a big enough average ticket, you will not sell more engines or more transmissions or more turbochargers or more anything, batteries, you name it. So at this stage of the game, I need you to break it up by average ticket. I want you to break it up by car count. Now, you may go, well, Aaron, why would I want to do all this? Why is this so important? I'm fine where I'm at. Well, you're on the webinar, so obviously things aren't 100%. Some of you like to grow. Some of you want to do more, but not all of us do. A lot of us just go to this stuff, but we don't actually do anything with it. So let's attack that for a second. So you're the type of person who is standing here and you see all these growth opportunities, and here you are. You're happy, but you're still not where you want to be. And you start talking to me about what you're capable of. You start talking to me about all the things you want to do with your life, etc. And so I look and I say, well, how well are you performing? And I find out that you're performing about here. Okay? And as I find out how you're performing, I dive in a little bit deeper. I start asking more questions. And as I ask more questions, I find out that you're really smart, that your potential is way up here. And as I find out where your potential is, I start diving into it. I start asking you questions. And as I ask you these questions, I start to determine that there's some thought basis behind it that is flawed. It's not right. And you may be like, well, what do you mean? Well, I'll meet an owner that will literally say, I belong here, I don't belong there. And they'll do this for bad reasons. And so when we talk about the growth mindset, we need to ask ourselves, why is this delta from here to here existing in your life? Why do you not think this way naturally? Why do you not have enough ambition to push yourself? Why do you have to get yourself going all the time? Why do we have this difference from here to here? Now, some might go, oh, they're lazy. Some might say, well, it's because, they're not interested. They don't think it's going to benefit themselves. Some would say there's not a big enough challenge. Some would say it's not exciting enough, etc. But what I want to point out to people is that this difference right here has somehow become part of your identity. You have gotten to a place in life where you enjoy saying, this is where I belong, right here. This is where I get help. People pay attention to me. I feel special. Because remember, if you are successful, all of a sudden you're standing out there on your own. You're doing good. You don't need help. And a lot of people want to need help because they want attention, because they're lonely. And it's because they don't have the self-confidence. So let me point out a couple of things. When you have a lot of self-confidence, you are able to stand on your own. And you don't care what other people think. When you lack in confidence, especially lack in self-esteem, you find yourself kind of like this. And you always need someone else's approval. I'll have an owner come to an event, and I'll start talking to him, and I'll tell this lady, oh, dude, you could do that. You could double that. And you're like, really? I go, oh, yeah, you're going to totally do 1.7. And they'll go, how in the world did you just spit that out? I go, I can tell. You're really smart. You got enough bays. You're going to do it. And they're like, I don't know. And I am believing in the potential. Well, what did I do? For some of us, we believe there is this false ceiling that they are not allowed to cross without permission. My goal is to tell them they can cross that line. But the only way they feel I have the power to remove that line is if they give me respect. Sadly, when they finally give me respect and I'm over here, I'm telling them, you can do this. It's possible. I believe in you. I'm saying these words, right? These sound waves are carrying over. And they're going, really? No way. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. And as they're shocked and they're hearing this from me, something's happening. Well, the only way I can remove that is if they give me the power. Like, I can tell you all day long, great job. But if you don't know me and you think I'm a homeless guy that's a drug addict and a drunk, you're not going to respect anything I say. So how come someone you respect is able to come in and unlock that ceiling for you? Why does someone else have the power, your heart, your dreams, your mind, all the ambition? Why does somebody else have that and not yourself? Now, if you think about it, what ends up happening is that as you start to grow, you put these ceilings on to keep you safe, to keep you protected. So this person over here must be the type of person that makes you feel safe, makes you feel confident, makes you feel like you can do it, makes you feel that you're special, that you're important, right? And people feeling important is a big, big deal. Makes you feel significant. And I ran out of room for the T, you know what I'm spelling. And a lot of people just need acknowledgement, right? I'm running out of room here. Blah, 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 acknowledgement. And so when people start to feel all these warm, fuzzy feelings, and then they respect this person. So it doesn't have to be me. It could be your dad, could be your mom. When they respect this person ends up in their hands a key to your heart. And they are just begging for that key to be used. They want someone to tell them, good job. You may not know this. If there's any girls on here and you're young and you're taking over your parents' shop, bought your own shop, got it going, whatever, started your own shop from scratch, and you're out there and you're trying to make it happen. A lot of girls will walk out to some big burly technician and they don't have the ability to say, pointing up at that person and say, listen, you got to do this, yada, 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 yada. Right? And so a girl will go into this shop and talk to a 55-year-old man and will not feel she has the ability to praise this guy or criticize this guy. or write them up for bad behavior. And I'll go talk to this lady and I'll go, look, you've got all the power, you got all the ability, you got everything you need to do this. Walk out there and do whatever you got to do and tell this person and watch what happens. Because this big burly dude also wants to be told, good job. Also needs to be told they can do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I will encourage this lady to go out there and do it. A young man who's in his dad's shadow walks into the shop. Dad's gone, wants to be able to correct somebody, doesn't have the confidence, doesn't think he belongs. An old owner who's been a pushover for 40 years has let all of his staff walk all over him. I tell him he needs to go out there and do X, Y, Z. He's scared to do it. He's afraid they're all going to quit. He's in his retirement age. He's worried about what's going to happen with his numbers. All of this, it doesn't matter what you are. You could be middle-aged, young, old, male, female. It does not matter. We all have reasons to be scared, to be nervous, to put this ceiling on ourselves to make ourselves feel safe. And that is what simply stops us from pushing in these categories and growing our company. What grows a company is crystal clear leadership. That's what grows a company. It's this non-sexy, non-cool, just normal average thing. And what is leadership? Leadership is availability. Again, leadership is availability. If I run ShopFix and I'm in my office and no one's ever allowed to come talk to me, and no one can ever bypass their boss and get directly to me, then one, we're going to have employees and bosses that, and I don't get me wrong, we have hierarchy here, but we are not going to have an ability for them to get right to the owner if they see an issue. I have an open door policy, and that means that they know they can come find me. They can call me on a weekend. They can do whatever they got to do. I'm available. When you are available, you're able to keep the ship on course. When you're not available, the ship goes all over the place, right? So I want you to think about this right here. Who in your life right now has the key to your heart? Who right now has the ability to grow you? Give them permission to speak into your life. And you can start saying, I'm not around a lot of people like this that make me feel good about myself. We all know you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with most. So as Jim Rohn would say, you need to pay attention to who those people are. And if you are not around people that encourage you and push you, you're around the wrong people. You need to be like, sayonara, I got to go. I got places to be. You may go, Aaron, I can't leave my family behind. Aaron, I can't leave my friends behind. Some of us out there on this, I'm telling you right now, you're paying for friends. The only people you hang out with are the people that work for you. And the problem with that mentality is, well, first, you should have friends outside of work. But second, if the people that hang out with you are only people that you pay to hang out with you, you know this in your heart. And so you walk away feeling like you have no friends. Rekindle those old relationships. Be a good friend. If you want good friends, go be a good friend to someone else. And you watch what this does to your self-esteem so you can grow. Now, let's attack another issue. A lot of people will say, hey, it's too much work. That is exhausting. Yes, I could operate at full potential, but when am I going to rest? Let me just put something to rest right now. A lot of people, let me make sure I get the right color here, believe that for you to go up and get to that level is going to take a lot of work. And so they think that doing all this potential means I'm working 80 hours a week, I never take a break. That is not true. That is not true. That right there is based off of a mentality that got you to here. That right there is not accurate. Work does not get you to the next level. So you sacrificed in the beginning your family, you sacrificed all your fun, you sacrificed time. It's all you had to give was time. As you've gotten older, hopefully you've made some money and you have cash in the bank. Now we don't sacrifice time anymore because that's the one thing we don't get back. You sacrifice money to grow, meaning you invest to grow, you hire more people. In the beginning, you sacrifice time. The sad thing is we'll get down the road, we'll have a little bit of jingle in our pocket, a little money in the bank, and then we will feel that the only way to get from here to here is the same way we got from here to here. It's not true. It's not true. What got you from here to here required a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice when your kids were little, sacrifice when your marriage was young. Maybe you're right now starting and you're sacrificing. Maybe you're not even married, you're on your own. Whatever it is, you're sacrificing now. But Once you get past that and you get that money in the bank, you don't do that anymore. You sacrifice with dollars by hiring more people to get to the next level. You've got to see that. My shops grow more now. ShopFix grows more now with me doing less than when I did more. How do we take this from here to here without killing ourselves? God gave you all this ability. You think he doesn't want you to use it? You don't think he wants you to use that? Make sure you wrap your head around this. Now, we got to keep going. I got a lot more to cover. Now, I want to encourage you. That's not straight. That'll drive me crazy. And I don't use slides, as you can tell. I've never taught with slides. I prefer paper. I'm old school like that. Hope you don't mind. But I want to walk you through now what it looks like to grow your shop, get to the next level, and the mentality it takes to keep growing, because a lot of people will get to one level above and they'll stop. So let's say right here is $500,000. And then here is, let's do 1 million. And then we'll go up, and then here, we'll do 1.5 million. And then here, we'll do 2 million. I don't know why I'm pausing on my thinking here. And then 2.5 and 3. And then as your brain is trying to wrap your head around it, the person on the call who can't imagine doing 1 million, your profits don't necessarily double. Let's be real. A lot of people think that. They don't. There's some sweet spots like right here in the low 2 million, high 1 million range where you make a lot of money. And then I would say right here in some shop, in some shops, you make more than even here. Not because 2.5 is a more profitable number, but because I see a series of mistakes that happen here. You don't run a $3 million shop the way you run a $2 million shop. And people don't make those changes, and so they end up wasting some money. So here you are. You're hanging out at 500,000. At 500,000, you meet some people, you talk to them, they give you some advice, you start listening, you get to 1 million. You start enjoying life. You and your spouse get to a point where things start really going good. You're taking your family on vacations, you're loving life. You get to 1.5 million. And you hover at this 1.5 million for years. Eventually, during COVID, you hit 2 million. And you just think, man, I'm the bee's knees. I got this figured out. The problem is, from here to here, this ended up being 20 years. How could you do this instead in 2 years instead of 20? Now, what happened was each time you went up, let's say it was once every 5 years, every 5 years, you would get to a point and go, oh, that was exhausting, and then you would rest. Oh my gosh, that was exhausting, and you rest. Oh my gosh, that's exhausting, you rest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would encourage you to pause and think for a second, why do you feel like when you get there, you're not ready for it? So many of us, right, we start the transition of growth. And we are, imagine standing on a lily pad. We're standing on this lily pad, floating out in the water, and then somebody introduces you to a new lily pad. And most of your weight's on the right, kind of leaning to the right, right? Or right, correct? You lean to the right, and you go to step on this little lily pad, and I'm like, come on, just jump on it. Just jump over here. And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, come on. And you end up doing the splits, and it's uncomfortable, right? And so as you start thinking about getting to this next level, you're not sure. And so you pause in this period of transition forever. And this period of transition is exhausting. It's scary. Let me tell you what transition looks like. You hop in your car. You're driving home. And as you're driving home, you stop paying attention to what's going on. You're just kind of daydreaming. And you're driving. And all of a sudden, you're in your driveway. You don't remember the stoplights. You don't remember turning your blinker on. You don't remember any of it. You literally went into your imagination. Your subconscious took over, and you were out for the count. The way this works is your brain is 95% your subconscious, 5% your conscious. So I'm talking right now to your conscious brain. Your subconscious is not even able to understand anything. It understands the feelings I'm giving you, but it doesn't understand the concepts. That's not how it works. So your subconscious brain, how do I say this? You go to a house, an old house, and it smells like your grandma's house. And you go, man, this smells like grandma. And all these memories come flooding back. Remember I talked to you about the key, right? The key was the smell. You hear a song, it reminds you the first dance with your spouse. You smell some perfume or some cologne, reminds you the first time you met them. So your subconscious, it uses pictures, it uses smells, music. It does not use language, so it doesn't understand me right now, but it understands feelings. And so whenever I start teaching this stuff and you go, that's me, you start to have revelatory moments, then you have a concept about growth, and growth starts to look a little bit more positive to you, and it gives you this warm, fuzzy, safe feeling. That is what your subconscious picks up on. Now, that's your brain, right? Here's your tiny little body. You are riding along thinking you're in charge when your subconscious is handling all this. Your subconscious is handling the pace of your transition in your life. Now, you may go in here, and I've enjoyed this. This has been great. But what is growth about? Isn't it? Don't you want more friends than you need? Don't you want more money than you need? More time than you need? Shoot, more kids than you need, right? And so all of these things are based that in this situation that for you, if you really wrap your head around it, all of these things are designed to be more than what your heart needs to be satisfied. But to go after them, and we feel guilty and say, well, I don't need all that. See, you getting more isn't about you getting more, and it's not about you being greedy. You getting more is about you giving more value to the world. One of the reasons I don't believe in retirement, I don't believe that you should stop being valuable to the earth. And the more value you bring to the earth, the more the earth must compensate you for it. So I believe that I should take my wisdom and keep giving it away. Now, when I get older, I'll just take more vacations. I'm going to be off a lot more. I won't work as much. Obviously, I'll do a lot of trips, have a lot of fun, but it must keep being valuable. If I keep being valuable and keep being sharp and keep staying on it, what ends up happening is the world rewards me for it, right? So when I think about a lot of us out here who decide, I'm just done, you've decided not to increase your value. Why would you do that? See, when you do more revenue, it just means that your ideas are more valuable. It doesn't mean you're doing more work. A lot of you that are really successful work way less than the people that are down. I mean, I'm going to just tell you, somebody doing 3 million works a whole heck of a lot less than somebody doing 500, and they're probably having way more fun. Staying down here is not fun. That's hard freaking work. Anybody here who's doing $500,000 or less, props off to you. I mean, you're crushing it. You're the one doing all the work. I want to get you further up the ladder. Some of you doing 2 million. Hats off to you. You're still doing way more work. Some of you doing 6, 7, 8 million. Again, you need to think through this. Just because you do more revenue doesn't mean it's more work. Chaos adds work, but you don't have to bring chaos when you do this. That's not what has to happen. Now, all that being said, your subconscious brain is in charge of this. If it does not feel safe, if it does not feel comfortable, it will slow it down. I would encourage you to help out your subconscious to help it transition from one place in life to another. I would pause for a hot minute, celebrate, get a steak dinner, do some hobbies, have fun with the extra money you're bringing in. Maybe get some new furniture for the house. Don't go crazy. Don't go blow it all, but spend a little. Celebrate, and then let others celebrate with you. When they celebrate with you, it really encourages yourself. Now, if you do this, what's going to happen is you're going to work through this transition, and then things are going to start to feel different. See, one day you're going to get in your car to drive home, and you're going to open the sunroof, and you're going to start driving, and the sky's going to look a little bluer. Things are going to look different. It's going to feel strange. Life will feel weird for a day or two, even a week. And it's because you're becoming more consciously aware. Imagine whenever you get out of the shower and you forgot to turn on the bathroom fan. The mirror's all fogged up, right? You're drying your face off, you dry your body off, dry your hair off, and you have to take the towel and wipe off the mirror. And then you see your face. Before that, it was covered in water mist. Couldn't see your face. Remembering to turn on that fan is you working on personal development and growing yourself as a person to be more self-aware. So when you get out of the shower, you see what you look like. A lot of you don't see what you look like. You're not able to look at yourself objectively. Too busy blaming everybody else. Let me point out something. It's all your fault. Don't tell me your town's different. Don't tell me your market's different. Listen, I 100% know your town's different. I know your market's different. We don't have one of those coaching companies that says everybody's the same. We don't. We believe the principles are the same, but we do not believe you get there the same way. And that's why we do it custom for everybody. I mean, we have to follow basic rules, and then we have to say, for your market, what is your median income? How do you adjust, et cetera, et cetera. That being said, as you're growing your company, you have to understand that this transition is going to feel scary because your subconscious is not used to it. I tell people whenever we do a big shop fix event in Mexico, in a beautiful resort of Four Seasons, and it's just unbelievable. And when we're down there, a lot of people, they tell me, this is my first time out of the country. And I'm always really surprised. And they're in their 40s or 50s. I'm like, this is not surprised like I'm disappointed. I'm surprised that I'm getting to be a part of somebody's first time leaving what they have felt is safe, right? And so I tell them there's a little trick I do. To help my subconscious get used to something, when I end up in a country I'm not comfortable with, a town, whatever, I tell myself, this is a good thing. I like this. This is a good thing. I like this. This is a good thing. I like this. This place is a good place. Mexico is a good place. I like this. This is a good thing. I like this. And I tell myself this. Why? Because I'm trying to get myself to start to feel better about it. And as I feel better about it, that's the only way I can communicate to my subconscious, because it doesn't understand the words. I'm saying the words to help myself feel a certain way. But the way this and this talk are through feelings. Example, you ever go to leave your house, you forgot your car keys, and you don't know what it is, but you get outside and you're like, I forgot something. What is it? I forgot. And you go to get in your car and you got one of the push button starts, you go to hit it and it doesn't start. Oh, I forgot my keys. I knew it. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Your subconscious can't say, hey, dummy, you forgot your keys. It just gives you the feeling that you're missing something. That's what happens in this transition. All of these feelings hold you back or push you on. So you might have a friend who's really being pushed and they got a lot of ambition. You've watched them. You were both doing a million. This guy's just taking off. Or this girl's taking off. And she's just leaving you in the dust. And you're like, man, I'm happy for him, but why can't I grow like Sally can grow? This isn't fair. If you understood ambition, that would unlock a lot of this for you. See, what happens is as Sally starts to take off, she is scared, but she's embracing courage. She's stepping onto the other lily pad from one that she's been on for years. Courage does not mean you're not scared. It just means you do it anyway. And so she's doing it anyway. She's scared to change pay plans. She's scared to roll out a new marketing plan. She's scared to do all of it, but it just keeps working. So she keeps doing it. And then all of a sudden she looks back, and while she might finally get to here, maybe she gets all the way up to 3 million. And let's just say she's not comfortable at 3 million. She's super feeling awkward about 3 million. She doesn't like 3 million. But if we were to ask her, she's super comfortable with 2 million. She's super comfortable with 1.5, super comfortable with 1 million, and super comfortable with 500K. Her brain hasn't caught up and gotten comfortable with 2.5 and has not gotten comfortable with 3 million. In fact, your subconscious will leak and it will say things like, I can't believe we're doing this much. Man, can you believe it? We just did 60 grand last week. I mean, I can't even believe it. I used to do that a month. Holy crap. 2 years ago. I can't believe it. And when they keep saying, I can't believe it, it is because they believe somehow that I say they believe. How do I see this differently? Their thoughts in their mind, I can't say without saying it. All right. So they believe that whatever they believe should equal their results. And so in their head, they think that belief equals results. And that's not true. It's not true. Belief does not equal results. What equals results? Action equals results. And they cannot wrap their head around it. When they have a coach tell them to do something, they're like, okay, I don't know. I'm going to try it. Oh, crap, that was scary. I don't know. Man, I can't believe that worked out. Hey, try this. They try it. All right, coach, I trust you. I mean, the last two things you've been right, but I am scared to death. Holy cow, look at our checking account. Coach tells them something else. They pop up to 2 million. You're like, I cannot believe this is right again. I mean, holy freaking cow, this is nuts. I mean, really? Honey, look how much money's in the checking account. Holy cow. I mean, this is freaking nuts. And then whoop, they trust the coach again. Every time, the very first time the coach told them to do something, it worked, and it put 10 grand in their bank account. Then it put 20 grand, then it put 30, then it put 40, and it keeps growing. And they start to believe more and more and more, right? But the belief follows the results, right? And so because the belief follows the results, what got them the results? What got them the results was the action. Being scared and jumping from one lily pad to the other anyway. That's what courage is. You can do this. I mean, guys, I've got an 8th grade education. I never went to high school a day in my life except my daughter's whenever she was graduating. I have never done anything but work full-time since I was 15 years old, never worked in anyone else's shop. I figured everything out the hard way, lost over $5.5 million. I've been down all the negative roads, all the positive roads. I've done it. I've been there. I've seen it. All I know is our industry. I know auto repair. I know auto repair very, very well. And I can tell you, and I've dealt with so many owners now, I can tell you that this transition is so key and so huge and affects so many people because of how they see themselves, how they believe, not understanding that they have to get their execution to match their potential. And when they start to get their execution to match their potential and they start to get this vision at a higher level and see themselves bigger, everything starts to transition. And it transitions because they step from one lily pad to the other and they go, oh my gosh, this is working. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Holy cow, y'all see this? Look how much revenue I just did. And the sad part is a lot of people's confidence is connected to 500K. So they might have the confidence of 500K, might be taking the action to do 2 million. And you'll see a person like this because they will continue to perform and work really hard. And that ambition will push them because they have this belief in the back of their mind they're never good enough. And so then the next thing we got to work on is you are good enough. You are a good guy. You are a good girl. You're a good lady. You're a good, you have to believe that you got it. You've got the goods. You've got the talent. And if you believe this, life is going to transition for you. If you don't believe this, life is going to continue to beat you up and it's going to continue to pull you down. I hope this brought you value today. I want to make sure that you focus on a couple key things. Right now, I just did the mindset of growth, right? Not a lot of specific numbers. I did over here. So again, I want you to take all of 22's car count. I want you to take all of 22's average RO. So just take the whole year, divide it by how many cars. And I want you to stop and think. And I want you to ask yourself a few questions. Are we any better at getting people to come into our shop? Is our marketing any better? Are service writers any more valuable on the phone? Are our service writers more polished? Can they curb sell better? With curb selling, something we teach, which means convince a client that we are the right shop for them. I mean, most shops probably only curb sell, and this is shooting from the hip. You got to have a lot of phone data to actually prove this, but about 50% of the potential people that call. So if they're good. And it's a really rough number. If you can get good at curb selling and get people to come into your parking lot and show up, then you're like, man, this is crazy. You will see car count just skyrocket. And once you see car count skyrocket, because see, curb selling also reveals how good your marketing really is. A lot of people think their marketing is not any good, but it's because their staff is running off potential customers. They literally answer the phone and they run them off. And it's not just them being impolite. They just don't come off as confident, like they know what's going on. They need more training from you. And so, by the way, quick tip, never have your lowest level person picking up the phone at the front counter, ever. All incoming calls, you need to have your highest paid people answering the phone. Never the other way around. Oh, they can put them on hold. What is the use of that? They put them on hold, so you just delay interrupting the expensive person? It makes no sense. We teach this in our program. There's other places they can go and work, but that's another topic for another day. Raise your car count. Then, are you any better at inspections? Are you any better at selling what you find? Are you any better at the process? Look at last year's growth. Did you grow tremendously, but car count not grow the same amount? If you grew average ticket more, that means you got better at the internal processes of average ticket, right? And so grade yourself on these and give yourself percentages on these. Then multiply it out to find out where you think you're going to land for the end of the year. And I guarantee you, you will be way more accurate than any other route. All right. I think I covered most of it. So, Amber, do we got any questions?
We do not have any questions just yet, but we have had a lot of great information. This brought me value. Needed to hear this. So I'm super glad everybody's here. I also love this comment. Feeling grateful to be able to sacrifice a day of labor for an opportunity that everything has brought today. So all of the sessions. So we're glad you're here, guys. If you do have any questions, please put it in the chat function and we will get those answered.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, Carm said, Carm, you're more than welcome to join back on and say that out loud. Please join us. Are you able to elaborate the mistakes that you mentioned that occur between the 2 and 3 million mark? That's a great question.
Yeah. So between 2 and 3 million, first off, if you have a $2 million shop, it's what I would call a super shop. You're in the top 5% of all shops in America. So great job. When you start to hit 3 million, you're top 1%. What I typically see from 2 million to 3 million is there's no hierarchy in the back of the shop, meaning they don't establish a lead tech or a foreman. So there's not one person who says, this is how we're going to always do this, right? And so because there's not this one person who says, this is how we're going to do this, one guy's version of quality, another guy's version of quality is up here and down here. Same thing up front. We typically have an owner that is very involved, but hasn't given the reins over to a GM. There's so much going on now in the corporate office, meaning paying bills, rent, et cetera, that the owner is so busy in there, he's not able to provide the same level of leadership in the office. And so now we don't have an office person in charge. And so what I find is from 2 to 3, the gross revenues grow, gross profits go down. And it's because the owner won't let go of really being in charge. He'll name a manager, he'll name a foreman, but they're in name only. The owner still walks around the shop calling all the shots. He needs to, or she needs to, in front of everyone, say, Bill and Jill over here are both in charge. Jill's the GM, Bill's the foreman, they're in charge. And anoint them in front of everybody and say, this person needs to do this, this person needs to do that. And when they do that and they point these people out and then acknowledge they're in charge and tell everybody to go to them, and they say, that's great, they're my new boss, then you tell them if anything ever happens where they're getting a little wonky, you can come around them and come to me, but they are the one you need to go to with all these issues. And I've seen this over and over. Also at the front counter, they don't start to separate parts. And you need to really start to separate parts. See, as you get larger, each thing becomes a department. And when you try to run a $3 million shop like a $1 million shop, it doesn't work. 3 million like 2 million doesn't work. At first, it will feel like you're adding overhead by separating things. But you bonus that foreman or that lead tech on production in the back of the house. Same thing on gross sales and net profits, et cetera. I don't bonus on gross sales, I bonus on net profits for the GM, but their base salary is based on gross sales. And so I'll give them a number that I want everyone manipulates their pay plan. So I want our pay plans to be aligned, meaning when they make money, I make money. When I make money, they make money. If you think about it, even an hourly employee manipulates their pay plan. How do they do it? They come in late, they leave early, they earn a lot of overtime. A salaried employee, what do? Salaried employee goes in the bathroom, takes a dump for 2 hours and plays on YouTube the whole time. They go and they take a super long lunch. They get their time back because they feel they deserve it. So I'm real big on making a manipulable pay plan that aligns with what I want to see the shop do. And I do that with all those positions. And then when you start to separate out parts, really designate who's doing sales. At $3 million, your GM should not be honestly doing any sales. He is just GMing or she is just GMing. That is it. They're managing. That's it. Because there's so many issues. At that point, the issues have gotten so big. There's always a technician not showing up to work at $3 million. There's always a parts problem. There's always an angry customer. So now I have at 3 million, 2 dedicated advisors, a parts manager, and a general manager who's keeping the wheels on the bus. And he's literally managing, or she's managing. At 2 million, it's a little bit of quasi. They might be doing some selling. In fact, you could have a GM and only one advisor and a parts manager up front at 2 million. So you need to make these transitions into running what I would call a real company. And if you do, you may think, crap, me not being involved, it's scary. Letting them run with it, that's scary, but they have more time than you do. you are now handling so much more money in the back office, so many more responsibilities with marketing that you're not able to put in the same amount of time. Every time I've seen this, I've seen tremendous growth. So just quick numbers. If you're doing around, let's say 2.2 to 2.5, you should be clearing north of 500K. We start to throw out percentages when we get to this level. At the $3 million level, there's no reason why you're not making $600,000 to $800,000 a year net profit at that level. I've seen couple shops scratching at $3 million, $1 million in net profit, clearing 33% net. So it's all about you putting everybody in a specific role and then staying out of the way.
That's great. All right. I think we have time for one more question that just came in. In your opinion, what is more important to growth? Either training a service advisor knowledge to properly sell, or their knowledge to sell, phone skills, selling over the phone and building trust with new customers, technician training, or management training?
I'm running out of room. Can you see? Yeah, you can see this one. All right.
I see it. Yep.
Imagine you have a teeter-totter, right? And you have an issue here. You have an issue here. This is the front of the house. This is the back of the house. And what was his name? Bill. Bill, it does not matter which one you tackle, but tackle the lowest hanging fruit. So example, let's say that your front of the house is super weak and you know it. Then I would tackle the front of the house. Let's say instead, though, maybe the front of the house is awesome and the back of the house is weak and you know it. Tackle the back of the house. Whatever is your issue. Now, I would also say it this way. Let's say that both are somewhat broken. Then I would say, which one's the easiest to fix? If you just say, hey, I got a great advisor. She used to sell at Verizon. I just need to pivot over and have her sell for me here. All right. Well, this girl's at Verizon crushing it, and she's awesome. She's a rock star. Then she just needs to learn the automotive end, right? And let's say on the tech side, you're actually probably needing to replace some of these guys. I mean, they're not any good. All right. Well, then let's say that that's the situation, and both aren't perfect, but one's at 80%, one's at 60. If the front counter's at 80, I'm fixing that first. That's the lowest hanging fruit. And so I would fix the front of the house first, tackle that issue. And then when it's weighted this way, then I would tackle this issue here. So for every shop, it's different. Remember, I said the principles don't change, but each of you have a unique situation. What is the biggest issue for you if one's great and one's not so great? Or if they're both broken, fix the easiest one first, then fix the harder one. That's how you got to think about this. And I never do both at the same time. Why? Because if you do both at the same time, you will break your shop. If you go train the front house, start firing people in the back, it's too much transition, it's too much change at once, and you will break your shop. And what does breaking your shop look like? The wheels come off the bus, other employees quit, technicians talk to their employees into going with them when they quit to the new shop, mutiny, etc. Seen it 100 times. So always focus on one department at a time when you're pushing change.
Love that. All right, we are right at time. Aaron, so if anyone wants to reach out to you, where can they go to get some more answers? Of course, I will follow up with any of these questions so that you have them as well.
Yeah, anybody who wants to ask any questions, just shoot me an email, Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, or Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, at shopfixacademy.com. It's shopfixacademy.com.
I just put it in the chat function. So
thank you, Amber.
Reach out. Of course. So guys, we are about to head into a concurrent breakout sessions. There's 3 going on. So go back to the auditorium once this closes. But Aaron, it's obvious. Everybody in the chat function is really appreciative of you, of your message today. And we really appreciate it, guys. We are here to help your businesses run better and help you grow and help you also get out of the busy of the shop so that you can grow your business well. So Aaron, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon in a few more sessions. Bye.
Thank you, guys.